10. Yeah, it's good enough. Freaking cats shed really bad. It's awful. We got this though. It's one of them things you just get used to. I have like 3 lint rolls. I probably go through, I don't know, at least 2 lint rollers a month. That's how much they shed. And it's ridiculous. Hey, what's going on, guys? For some reason, it feels like longer than usual as far as in between shows. It hasn't. It just feels that way. I don't know why. Let's see. I need to get one more thing. Hold on. Well, I was gonna go to Morgantown for the game this weekend, but I'm not gonna be able to make it because I'm actually headed over to Uncle Lou's this weekend, and he's having sort of like a mini watch party for the Arkansas-Georgia game. So I'll be in Evans, Georgia, not Morgantown, West Virginia. But I am going back to a game this year. I'm pretty sure it's the Texas one. Yeah, it is, as a matter of fact. I got confirmation on the tickets the other day. So, we are going back to Morgantown, but it's going to be for the Texas game. And a little bit better seats than what you saw in the video. That was upper deck. This is going to be in the lower deck. Fairly close to the visitor section, so we're going to have some fun. Yeah, not going to lie. Kind of surprised on how high the line is for the Georgia-Arkansas game. That's a pretty big line to open up on. Don't necessarily disagree with it. Just kind of surprised. I think, hold on one second. Yep, for the ranked versus ranked, I believe that's the highest line I've seen. Next closest, Alabama, the Miami Alabama line was 17, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then the line for Ole Miss and Alabama, surprisingly, only 14.5. 14.5 in favor of Alabama. I thought maybe they would go 17-ish with that one. But no, 14.5. I think that's a good matchup for Ole Miss. I think it's a tricky matchup for Alabama. That's going to be a very interesting game to watch, so we'll see how it goes. Wiki, what's going on? I like the way Lou says your name better, though. Waikiki. I like it. I might call you Waikiki. I don't know. That's how I know you now, just because of how he pronounced your name. It's kind of hard to get away from that. Who else we got in here? The Pig Bear. He's in the house. Let's see. Talk is Pitt, of course. John Kelly. What's up, bud? Easy Money. Mommy's Toys. Dylan Vance. Oh, he sent me a article earlier. Apparently they're about to pass something, or already have passed something, to where players will actually be able to get paid by the universities themselves. That's an even bigger step than, just the regular NIL. Trey Sargent in the house. Scotty B, the Baylor King. Let's see, did I miss anybody? I think I'm caught up. Bubbles McKenzie. Yvette. Yeah, I think that's everybody. I think we're good. Just double checking. Alright, yeah, we're good. There was something interesting. Well, for me it was interesting because of how many upsets. I have so many notes, guys. sometimes I forget what I wrote on what. And I drive myself crazy sometimes, so bear with me 1 second. I know I had it written down. Oh, here we go. So, from week 1 to week 4, all the upsets yours truly has correctly picked. You ready? Okay, here we go. Week 1, I picked UCLA over LSU. Mild upset. They were only a 2.5 point underdog. Then I picked number 10 Iowa over number 9 Iowa State. A lot of people were picking that. Stanford over number 14 USC. Nobody was picking that. And in fact, somebody said that I didn't like money because I picked that. But, it is what it is. Week number 3, Fresno State over number 13 UCLA. Number 23 BYU over 19 Arizona State. That shouldn't have been an upset. I think the line was just Vegas messed up on that one. Michigan State over number 24 Miami. A lot of people were picking that one too. Week 4, number 16 Arkansas over number 7 Texas A&M. A lot of people agreed with me. Arkansas shouldn't have been the underdog. That was a stupid line to put out by Vegas. NC State over Clemson. I made it official in my spread pick video. I did pick NC State over Clemson. Georgia Tech over North Carolina. I think that was actually a bigger upset because Georgia Tech was a 12.5 point underdog and NC State was only a 10 point underdog. So, yeah, a little bit bigger of an upset. And then, of course, no, Oklahoma State wasn't the underdog. Never mind. That last one wasn't an underdog. Let's see. You don't remember Clemson was a bad team 15 years ago. Yes, I do, too. Yeah, I definitely do. In fact, 2011, less than 15 years ago, we spanked the snot out of Clemson in Miami. It was 70-33. A lot of people ask me this. As a West Virginia fan, would you change or trade with Clemson that butt whooping that you handed them for the success that Clemson has had? In other words, would I take a butt whooping from Clemson in 2011 in that Orange Bowl, same score, 70-33, for 2 national championships? Of course I would. I don't understand why people ask that question. Of course. 2 national championships or just an Orange Bowl? I mean, it was a nice victory. It was an awesome day to be a Mountaineer. 2 national championships. I'll take those all day long. It kind of, that's the thing a lot of people don't realize about Clemson. That game kind of is what put Clemson in the right direction. It was a bad loss, but that was the game that finally broke the straw on the camel's back for them to fire Kevin Steele. That's when Clemson fired Kevin Steele, their defensive coordinator, and they brought in Brent Venables from Oklahoma. So that should actually be a good memory. The game itself, I realize, bad memory for Clemson. But it should be a good memory as far as that's when Clemson made a tremendous decision to fire Kevin Steele and bring in Brent Venables. And they've had a ton of success since. They're kind of struggling this year, but we're not used to that. That in and of itself tells you the success that Clemson has been having, the powerhouse they've become. This is like, whoa, I'm in a twilight zone. Clemson has 2 losses already? That's crazy. If you would have said that 20 years ago, they'd be like, yeah, and they'll probably grab like 5 or 6 more. So what? That's how different the culture is now. So it's I'm glad somebody pointed that out because I'm seeing a lot of Clemson fans just trash talking Dabo right now. I'm like, if it wasn't for Dabo, you would only have that 1 national championship back from '81. That's it. You'd still be in the same position as Georgia is right now. Now, Georgia has a great team, and I think they have a really good shot of winning the national championship, but that's a long gap, especially for a great name like Georgia. Georgia's had some pretty good teams since 1981. Really good teams. Probably some teams that should have won a national championship. It's just a lot of things have to come together for that to happen. Some people don't realize that. It's not just about recruiting. That's only part of it. You have to have the recruiting. You have to have the coaching. You have to have the schedule. Sometimes a schedule can knock you out of a national championship just because it's so stinking difficult. Even the best of the best teams can't get through it unscathed. The schedule that comes to mind for this year, Arkansas. I don't think a national championship team or a national championship caliber team could get through Arkansas' schedule unscathed. That's a tough one. So the third ingredient, the schedule. Fourth, luck. Yes, there is some luck involved. Think about it. There's one or two moments during a season where if the ball bounces left instead of right, or it happened this second, not that second, totally different game. So, I know I call it luck, but it's more like, what's the better phrase? Bounce of the ball. Something like that. It factors in there. So, a lot of things have to come together for a national championship. That's why it's better to get to the national championship, get to the playoffs on a more consistent basis. That way your chances of winning the national championship goes up. That's why West Virginia hasn't won a national championship. We've had our opportunities. We went to the national championship in 1988. We went undefeated in 1993. Had we won the Orange Bowl, we would have had a share of a national championship then. 2007, last game, had we beat Pitt, we would have went to the national championship and probably would have won. But because there's such a big gap between West Virginia's magical years, you have to capitalize in that year or you're waiting a long time. And we just have never been able to do that. So if you can start building up streaks and just get there and get there and get there, eventually the law of averages will be on your side and you'll win yourself a national championship. All right, as far as how to get the call-in number, here's how we do it here. And I need my moderators to help me out on this. What you do is you email me. There you go. He's on it. You email me your name and the number that you're calling from. There's the email on the screen. Then you'll get an email back of the number to the show. So all you do, email your name, what number you're calling from. Then you'll get the email back for the number to the show. That's how we do it. We tried giving the number away on the show live while we were doing it. That's a terrible idea. That's a bad idea. We learned our lesson and we move on. In just a minute, hold on. Call-ins, I'll open the call-ins, the call-in part of the show here in just a second. Real quick. So, of course, we already know, talking about the games for week 5. Here we go. We already know about number 8, Arkansas, at number 2, Georgia. Both of these teams are 4-0. Georgia is the 18.5-point favorite. I think that's a little high. I think it should be more around the 14-point, 2 touchdowns. I think that's about right. Either way, I think Georgia is going to win this pretty easily. I just think that line's a little high. Then the other big game. Number 12, Ole Miss at number 1, Alabama. Ole Miss is 3-0. Alabama's 4-0. Alabama's the 14.5-point favorite. I think that's about right. There's only one other ranked versus ranked, and that's number 21, Baylor, at number 19, Oklahoma. Both of these teams are 4-0, and Oklahoma State is a 3.5-point favorite. I would have thought that number would have been a little bit higher because home field, what they say, if teams are exactly evenly matched, home field advantage is worth between 11 to 13 points. So, for Oklahoma State, I would put them as a touchdown favorite. I think that's a little low. I would actually lay that 3.5. I think Oklahoma State wins by 1 touchdown. So, I think they covered that line. Under the radar games, real quick. Under the radar games. Number 22, Auburn at LSU. Both of these teams 3-1. LSU 3.5-point favorite. I think this is going to be a night game too in Death Valley, the other Death Valley. I don't know which one's original, so I'm just it is what it is. 3.5 under the lights at night in Death Valley. LSU. That's a tall order, and Auburn isn't elite. I think LSU gets that win. Number 5, Iowa at Maryland. Both of those teams 4-0. Iowa just a 3-point favorite. Just a 3-point favorite. and rightfully so. I think Maryland has a really good offense, and their defense is okay. It's at Byrd Stadium. Not the greatest of atmospheres, but, Maryland beat West Virginia in Byrd Stadium, so maybe they can do it again. I'm keeping my eye on that line. That might be one of my upsets that I pick. I haven't made up my mind yet. Number 13. A lot of people are not thinking about this one. This is an upset I'm really, really thinking about. Number 13, BYU at Utah State. BYU's 4-0, Utah State 3-1. BYU is an 8.5-point favorite. I think Utah State can pull that upset. Utah State is a much better team than people realize. They're going to be a factor in the Mountain West. I would actually rank them right up Fresno State, Nevada, Utah State, and then Boise State. So they're in the upper echelon of that Mountain West, and it's going to be at Utah State. I think they can pull it off. I think Utah State can pull that off. Here's another one. Number 14, Michigan against Wisconsin. Michigan is 4-0, Wisconsin 1-2. Michigan hasn't really been tested all that much. I know Wisconsin's 1-2, but their two losses are against really good teams. Penn State and Notre Dame. Wisconsin, the 2-point favorite. I think they could cover that and give Michigan their first loss. I'll have to think about that one just a little bit more. Oh, the other ranked versus ranked. I missed it. Duh. Number 7, Cincinnati at number 9, Notre Dame. Cincinnati 3-0, Notre Dame 4-0. Surprisingly, the road team, Cincinnati, a 2-point favorite. I'm a little shocked about that one. So I'm going to keep my eye on that one and see where the line moves. Would not shock me because it's basically a pick 'em if you think about it. So that wouldn't shock me if that flipped over into the home team's in favor of the home team. That's going to be a good game. Another possible upset to keep an eye on. Number 3, Oregon at Stanford. Oregon 4-0, Stanford 2-2. Oregon just an 8-point favorite. And Stanford, I know they got beat by UCLA. But they are better than what people realize. And, this could be a trap-ish sort of game for Oregon. I haven't decided to pull the trigger on the upset on that one, but it's worth thinking about. Number 6, Oklahoma at Kansas State. Oklahoma 4-0, Kansas State 3-1. Oklahoma 10.5-point favorite. Two things here. Number 1, Oklahoma, they're struggling for whatever reason. Barely beating inferior opponents. Kansas State, they've had Oklahoma's number, and Kansas State is pretty decent this year. Does Kansas State beat Oklahoma for the 3rd year in a row? That one's tricky because your brain's like, your luck's got to run out sometime, right? I don't know. This is at Kansas State. They know Oklahoma really well. It's worth thinking about. By the way, building this up for tomorrow's spread pick video. It's coming out tomorrow, guys. Number 11, Ohio State at Rutgers. Both of these teams 3-1. Ohio State 15-point favorite. Could Rutgers do the unthinkable? It's possible, especially with Greg Schiano. I like this one, guys. I really like this one. Number 10, Florida at Kentucky. Florida is 3-1. Kentucky 4-0. Florida, the 8.5-point favorite. I already know I'm going to pick the upset there because I had Kentucky beating Florida from the beginning of the season. I know they've played a little closer than I've been comfortable with as far as beating Missouri by a touchdown. But you know what? This is at Kentucky. I got to stick to my preseason pick. I'm going Kentucky here. I already know that. If you watched my preseason video, that's not a shocker. You knew it was coming. I'm taking Kentucky on that one. Let's see. Anything else interesting here? Maybe Boston College at Clemson. I don't know. Boston College is 4-0. Clemson 2-2. Clemson the 15-point favorite. I mean, if they don't find any offense, then yeah, Boston College could definitely win that game. But you figure all the talent that Clemson has, that offense is going to come around, right? I mean, it's got to. It wouldn't make sense if they don't. I don't know. That's a weird. I will say this. I do think Boston College should be ranked. I have no idea why they're ranked. I didn't agree with NC State being ranked. They're giving way too much value for that win over Clemson at home. And it's like completely forgetting that NC State lost to a bad Mississippi State team. And they lost convincingly. So, and, Clemson is struggling. So, I don't know why they overvalued that win so much. And then keeping Clemson ranked. Clemson is the only team with 2 losses that's still ranked. So, those were the 2 that I didn't agree about. It is what it is. I don't understand the AP sometimes. All right. If you already have the call-in number, you may now call in. I'm now accepting calls. Let me check my charge. Oh yeah, we're good. 81%. We are good in the hood. Let me move this mic, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, you're on with Golden Blue, dude.
All right. Yeah, I'm on. I know it's been a lot of Clemson talk recently on the show, but let's get back to Clemson talk.
All right.
I don't know what's going on with the offense, not the defense. The defense is fine.
Yeah. I agree.
But
well, the defense is more than fine. They're actually really elite.
But offense, I don't know what's going on. Like, I know DJ's better than this. He showed it last year.
What it looks like to me is, for whatever reason, he's there's this phenomenon that people don't realize about college football when it comes to the quarterback. When you go from high school to college, the speed changes. It increases. When you go from college to the NFL, once again, the speed increases. And what it seems like is he's just a hair behind. He's not on par with the speed of the game right now. And when you say it out loud, you're like, oh, just a hair behind. That's not a big deal. No, that's a massive deal. If you're just a little bit behind as far as the timing in your head and the speed of the game, that'll throw everything off. And from watching the games and the offense, that seems to be the issue with DJ. And he looks a little timid in the pocket as well, like he's scared to get hit or something. I don't know. It's weird. He looked way more confident against Notre Dame on the road last year.
Yeah, because I personally had a long Saturday. I had a false positive for COVID. Long story. I was to see a concert, and then got canceled because I had to get that test. Test was positive. Took another test, was negative. So everything's fine there. But that was just a weird game from what I heard. Because I listened to it driving back between Greenville and Charlotte because I didn't want to quarantine in Greenville.
Yeah, the entire game, it did feel like NC State had the momentum for the most part, but you always had this feeling that Clemson's going to pull this out. There's no way that they lose to NC State on the road, and then it just never happened.
Also, I don't want to jinx this for the future, but NC State's kicking against Clemson is just horrible. If we remember back to 2016.
Yeah, whenever they missed that field goal in regulation, I was like, oh, Clemson going to win this. That was NC State's chance, but somehow Wolfpack was able to pull it off.
Exact same thing. It's 2016 all over again.
Yeah, that's what I was. Well, this time though, it was if he would have. When he missed it, it was still tied. That time, it was a miss, and Clemson won, I believe, if I remember correctly.
The game went into overtime. It was tied. I remember.
Okay, gotcha.
I was shaking on the ground at that point because I was like fourth grade or so.
That was also on the road, wasn't it?
No, that was at home.
Daggum, that seems forever ago.
Yeah, and he missed it, and we just called an interception on the second play. They're first play of overtime.
Yeah. That was what, 16 or 17? 2016? Yeah, that's 16. Right. Man, 5 years ago. That's crazy. Still remember it, though.
The first Clemson game my brother went to, so that was cool.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good one.
Very interesting one for him. He doesn't care about sports, though.
So when we went to the Virginia Tech game a couple weeks ago, and we brought a friend, and I'm not sure his exact age, maybe 20, 21, 22, something like that. and that was his first game. His first time going to a West Virginia game, and he's a West Virginia fan, and he picked a freaking Virginia Tech game where we stopped them on 4th and goal. I'm like, you must be like the luckiest person on earth, but for that to be your first game, that's crazy. So that's like the same situation you were in. Your first game to go to at Clemson was a historic, epic game.
Well, yeah, it was my brother because here's the thing. I don't really like to jinx this, but like always when I was growing up, it's usually just like me and my dad going to the Colts game with like one of his friends. My mom didn't want to go, and then my parents got divorced like a little before that. And still then it was just like me, my dad, and one of his friends, and then Ben started coming and started bringing some friends.
Right.
And pretty much I just go down when I'm in Greenville since I moved up here.
I got you, man. I understand. So what are your real quick? What are your thoughts on the Boston College game?
Yeah, Boston College. I'm coming into this exact same mentality I came into NC State. Obviously not playing. Also nervous as crap because I have to play like a nationally ranked high school tomorrow, even though it's just JV.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're like I think their varsity's like ranked like 90th or something.
Yeah. Wow. Well, good luck with that, man. Just have the biggest thing is have confidence in yourself. It's natural to be nervous and have the jitters, but when you get out there, man, just don't do more than what you're supposed to do. Just do your job. That's it. And then your teammates got to do their job. That's what it comes down to.
I don't know how much I'll be in because COVID, obvious, because I like missed like Monday and Tuesday waiting on that test result. But
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I understand that.
Just walkthroughs today.
Yeah, just getting back in the routine. But for the Boston College Clemson game, I think this is actually in Clemson's favor because what they've been struggling is on offense, right? You go back to the Georgia game, two incredibly talented offenses, or defenses, I should say, low-scoring game. I don't think Boston College has a very good offense. They have a good defense, but so does Clemson. So I think this matchup actually favors Clemson. I think Boston College is a really good team. I do. I think they should be ranked. I just think this is a bad matchup for Boston College.
Yeah, because I hate to like stretch this on. Past 2 weeks, actually after that West Virginia game, me and my friends we printed out a picture of the couch and said we burned down the couch because West Virginia won. And he was actually cheering for Virginia Tech in that game because he's from Bristol and.
Oh yeah, I had to drive through Bristol on the way up there actually.
Yeah, you're either Tennessee or Virginia Tech, so they like a Virginia Tech. He was wearing their Tech shirt. He was wearing it.
That's probably the better choice.
Yeah. Since I went up to Neyland Stadium, actually with McDonald's, we got McDonald's on the way there, so that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, when I had my live show on Saturday, I said live, if West Virginia beats Oklahoma, and at that time it looked like West Virginia was going to beat Oklahoma, I was going to do a couch burning video. Then, of course, my worst case scenario, which I literally said in a video earlier in the day, 2 worst case scenarios: either we get blown out or they win on a last second field goal. As long as we keep it competitive and not get blown out or lose on a last second field goal, I'll be all right. And lo and behold, last second field goal. That was the furthest thing from my mind, to be honest with you.
I remember because that's what I watched, because I don't really want to watch the Clemson game. I was on the phone with my friend during it.
Yeah. Texas Tech. I do think West Virginia wins by 2 touchdowns. I think Texas Tech is without their starting quarterback, too. So it's that one could get ugly.
Yeah, I think West Virginia wins by like 20-plus points there.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
I think West Virginia is a sleeper team, as we saw against Oklahoma. And I know the Maryland game was Maryland game was a fluke. I think they beat Texas like close.
Well, the reason the Maryland game was a fluke is because we had 4 freaking turnovers and Maryland had 0. They had 4 extra possessions and they still only beat us by 6 points. We just made way too many mistakes. The 2 losses that we had, inopportune mistakes. I mean, you can't throw an interception in the red zone, and then in the Oklahoma game, you can't forget how to snap a ball. It's just, I don't know, man. It's frustrating.
Yeah. Also, I got like my whole college football schedule mixed up yesterday. I thought, because I knew App State plays Louisiana on a Tuesday. I thought it was this Tuesday. I was like, oh yay, I'm out of school. I can just like spend all day like watching stuff before and just watch the game. Nope, I went to bed without like watching anything yesterday.
Well, it is what it is, but we get a good game on Friday night. Iowa at Maryland. That's an underrated game. That's an underrated game. I think Maryland has a chance to pull off the upset.
Yeah.
I think the matchup actually favors Maryland, to be honest with you. I think they have a very talented offense. Iowa has a really good defense. It's at Maryland. Maryland has a decent defense. I'm thinking this matchup favors Maryland. They could pull off the mild upset there.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All
right, man. Appreciate you calling in, and make sure to call in on the next show too.
Saturday at some point, because I'll probably be back at my friend's house since I'm negative, and he's probably not going to go to Bristol this weekend because he's actually the cousin who was just born. So yeah.
I got you, man. I got you.
Nice.
All right, man. Have a good one, man.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, Clemson fans are in shock right now, and I don't really blame them because we haven't seen Clemson with 2 losses in the regular season in a very long time. I mean, they're out of the playoff race. Think about that. Clemson is out. Year after year, we have 2 spots marked, Alabama and Clemson. Now, in 2019, Alabama slipped up, so that was a shocker. And then this year, it's Clemson. So it's just one of those weird years. You're on with Golden Blue, dude.
Hey, roll tide, Golden Blue, dude.
What's up, bud?
Hey,
Hold on one second. Hold on. Guys, you're going to hear a pop. I'm straightening my mic. It's a little sideways. All right, we're good. Go ahead, bud.
Hey, got a surprise for you.
What's that?
I talked to your sponsor today.
Oh, yeah.
I am going to buy a $50 package for you to give away this month.
Okay.
So you can decide if you can keep track of everybody who gives a $5 donation or something.
Okay.
You pick out whoever you want, and they can win a $50 package where they can either get a football or a little picture or whatever from your sponsor, and I'm paying for it.
Okay, so it's basically a $50 prize through tristatewoodsketch.com, and they can choose anything, any picture, any shape, size within the $50 range. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I like it, man. I like it. And how do they qualify?
You decide. It's your show.
Okay, I got you. You got my wheels turning.
Maybe if you keep track for the month, people send in like a $5 donation or, super chat or stuff like that.
Okay.
You can pick a winner.
Okay, that'll work. So we'll say one $5 super chat gets somebody qualified. How about that? All they have to do is do one $5 super chat, and they're automatically qualified.
That'll work.
That'll work. All right. So there you go. We just came up with the contest right on the spot, guys. So basically, what it is, either a $5 super chat or $5 to a PayPal. You don't have to do it multiple times if you don't want, just one time. And you qualify for a $50 prize through tristatewoodsketch.com. And he does great work. Any picture that you have, it can be of your family, your team, a logo, whatever, and he'll put it on. Well, hold on. Let me display what he does real quick. Can you hold on? Just so y'all get an idea. So stuff like this. He did that one for me. That one. And here's my favorite one, actually. Right here. That's a good one. So yeah, and it's the great thing about this is a contest that's perfect for Christmas. You know that that person and you're like, man, I have no idea what to get them. Trust me, especially a girlfriend, a wife, something like that. They will love it. Love it. And he'll do a heart shape, whatever you want, he'll do it. I like it, man. I like it. You still there?
Yeah, I can barely hear you.
All right, hold on.
Oh, there you go.
All right, back on track, bud. What do you think about the Ole Miss Alabama game?
I think Ole Miss kind of hits us in the beginning, but I think we pull away. I think we beat them by at least 17. I really do.
That's not bad. I mean, that's, the line's 14.5, so that's not, crazy to think of. And I think a lot of people are kind of overreacting to the Florida game for whatever reason. And, well, Ole Miss kind of fits in the same category in the same breath, but for whatever reason, Florida has played y'all very, very close 2 years in a row. Last year, Ole Miss played y'all close, so, could it be in the same category as a Florida? It's a good matchup for them, something like that? Did you hear me? I think we have a bad connection. You still there, bud? Oh, call him back. I don't know if I dropped you or you dropped me.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because I heard you and then I didn't, so I didn't know if maybe I lost connection.
Yeah, something happened. I don't know. What I was saying, though, is...
But the good news about this year, though, is Ole Miss last year, they played us hard. But
Yeah.
The problem was last year they got 265 rushing yards on us.
Yeah,
We
that's a lot.
stopped them through the air. So, this year, Alabama has trouble. Our linebackers right now are not playing the way they should. So if they can get some people in the middle, they can hurt us. And I'm not going to say they can't, but I think Alabama can out-tough them. Our line will wear them down on both sides, and I think we'll come out in the end.
Yeah, I definitely have Alabama winning because of depth. I just think... I think it could be closer than people expect because of... For whatever reason, Ole Miss and Florida is not a great matchup for Alabama. Now, Alabama has the depth and the athletes to overcome that, but it does provide for an interesting, unexpectedly close game. I think we might be headed in that direction where we know Alabama's going to win pretty much the entire game. They're in control, never really any doubt, but you look at the final score, you're like, dang, that was a close game. They win by, a touchdown or 10 points.
Right. And you got Lane Kiffin, who can take any defense and put the right play against it. He's an offensive genius.
Yeah, I agree. I think he was cut short on a lot of his coaching tenures too.
Right.
And
But I
the
think
one thing is some
you want to
people...
watch the game, Georgia.
Well, the thing with Lane Kiffin is a lot of people forget, he was an assistant coach of Nick Saban's. And I know, no assistant has ever beaten Nick Saban. I get that. But Lane Kiffin he's really smart when it comes to offense. I'm not saying Ole Miss is going to beat Alabama, but he's smart enough to keep the game close. I really believe that. Thank you, Wahoo Brad 24. Would West Virginia win the ACC this year if they were in it? That is a really, really good question. Normally, I would say no. Of course, it's Clemson's league, and no chance. But this year, Clemson's down, Miami's down, North Carolina's down. I'm not saying West Virginia would win it, but I think they have a shot. We did beat Virginia Tech, and Virginia Tech beat North Carolina, so, there is some transference there, but I would definitely think they have a shot. Maybe depends on what matchups they get at home and what matchups they would get on the road. I think that would be the biggest thing. And Wahoo Brad is a Virginia fan. Oahu is a Virginia fan. If people, some people don't know that, but that's a Virginia Cavalier fan. Good question though. I like it. What do you think? What would be your opinion on that? Did we lose him again? You there, man? I think he has a bad signal. Sorry, bud. I had to hang up. The signal is okay. He said internet keeps going in and out, but still a good call. It was, spotty here and there. By the way, if y'all haven't hit the like button, please do so. It does not to pat me on the back, say good job, none of that. You can hit the thumbs down, whatever. It's to hit that algorithm, and it gets the video suggested more, gets more people in here, more eyeballs, more conversation. It's easy, fast. I would greatly appreciate it if you hit that like button. It helps the video a lot. What's up? You're on with Golden Blue Dude.
Talk is Pitt here.
Hey, what's going on, man?
How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. We got through that issue we had with John Waffle, and now we're good.
Yeah, I felt I had to apologize because everybody thought that I agreed with him and I was on his side when I've said multiple times, I want West Virginia in the ACC. We need that revenue that the backyard brawl brings to the university.
Well, think about this. Saturday night, Oklahoma, West Virginia, 4.5 million watched that matchup. I think it was the second highest rated matchup for the night. West Virginia brings eyeballs, I'm telling you. And the West Virginia Tech game had a lot of eyeballs for a noon game. You have to keep it into perspective what time slot. So for a noon game, the West Virginia Tech game did really good numbers.
Oh, and agreed. I believe it would bring more eyeballs, which plays into the revenue factor. I just don't. If you're gonna take out everything else, let's just take out everything else about the university. Like the academics, let's just take all of that out. Because I think they're improving, but let's not even count that. As far as the sports goes and the competition and the viewership, I think West Virginia has a lot more to offer the ACC than the other choices.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. I'm glad you mentioned the academic thing. So a lot of people don't realize why West Virginia's academic numbers aren't great, and it's because we don't send our lower academics, to an affiliated branch, an affiliated university, like pretty much what every other state university does. So we don't say, hey, you got to go to West Virginia State or West Virginia Tech. It's because our acceptance rate is much higher, and we don't send the lower academics elsewhere. Well, our president Gordon Gee, he's talked with Jim Phillips about that. And they actually had a meeting about it, and they did the numbers factoring that in. And West Virginia does have the academics to get the ACC when you factor that in. It's just that one thing that West Virginia is different from most other state universities.
Yeah, we don't have to send our kids to other schools because we have campuses all across the state.
Right.
We even have campuses that are Pitt University campuses in the middle of the state, in dead smack in the middle of Happy Valley. So, I mean, as far as you guys go and not having to do that, then, I didn't know that. I still think you guys offer a lot more than what Cincinnati would bring, what UCF would bring, and dare I say this, even more than what Notre Dame brings, because any conference Notre Dame goes into, that's an automatic revenue boost.
Yeah, I agree. And here's the funny, okay, so this is the thing that I can't get people to understand as far as the value that West Virginia brings to the ACC, okay? It's not just about the eyeballs that the West Virginia fan base, alumni, population, whatever, brings. It's, okay, when West Virginia plays Pitt, not only are you getting the West Virginia viewers, but more Pitt fans are going to watch that game as well. Same with the West Virginia versus Virginia Tech. The numbers are good for that game because not only are you bringing in the West Virginia fan base, but more Virginia Tech fans want to watch that game as well. And that's why West Virginia is especially valuable to the ACC, because you're bringing in the West Virginia fan base who brings in pretty good numbers, but you're also bringing more viewership from your own fan base because they want to see that game.
Definitely. I mean, a couple of our fans just don't care, and I don't know why. But when we play you guys next year, especially at the beginning of the season, which I love the idea of playing at the beginning of the season and not the end of it. When we play you guys at the beginning of the season in Pittsburgh, I believe we most likely will probably sell out that game. That is, if the Steelers don't play at Heinz Field the following day. And see, that's a problem. A lot of the fan bases that make fun of us for using a pro stadium don't have to deal with. They don't have to deal with a pro team. We do.
Yeah.
And we not only have to deal with the Steelers, we have to deal with the Penguins, and we have to deal with the Pirates, which are right across the street.
Yeah.
So that takes away a lot of our fans from going to the Pitt game. It's not that we don't exist, we do. It's just trying to go to a Panther, Steeler, Penguin, and Pirate game all in within a 2-day span is very difficult to do. But anyway, what I wanted to ask you about, what I called in for, in my opinion, this game that Pitt has with Georgia Tech this weekend will dictate who wins the Coastal.
I saw that comment that you left on the video about that. Well, you know, Georgia Tech already owns the head-to-head against North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all have only lost to Western Michigan, so that doesn't... I mean, that's a bad loss, but it doesn't affect the ACC standing, so it really could. You could be right on the money with that, especially with North Carolina and Miami not looking great, and both of those two teams have to come to the catch-up bottle.
Yeah, we, speaking of that, apparently that's been going around on Twitter this weekend is the ketchup bottle. So a lot of our fan bases, what we did for this weekend for a pep rally in Pittsburgh, we're having a ketchup bottle pep rally where everybody is bringing a bottle of ketchup to say we don't care.
There you go. Hey, you got to make the best out of things. I like it.
And that's what we're doing. Now, as far as this weekend goes, I still feel we are the better team. I still feel we will beat Georgia Tech because I've watched every single game that Georgia Tech has played. And, yeah, I'm going to give them props because they beat North Carolina, which is not something anybody saw coming.
Wait, what?
I did not see. I don't know if you called the upset.
I did.
Well, bearing that, I looked at the stats and seen they weren't that good for Georgia Tech at all.
Right.
Jeff Sims only threw for 112 yards, and if you take out the amount of rushing yards and touchdowns he had, they didn't really play that well. They didn't have outside of Jeff Sims, they didn't have a 100-yard rusher. They didn't have a 100-yard receiver. Their defense really did not do that well, allowing almost 600 yards of total offense from North Carolina. North Carolina just couldn't score.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that Georgia Tech did well is they had the bend but don't break mentality. And
yeah,
a lot of things, something that people don't realize about Georgia Tech is they still haven't gone through all of the recruits from that triple option. Don't get me wrong, they don't run a triple option anymore. But they haven't fully cycled through those recruits that came there that got recruited because of the triple option. So they're still going to be a run heavy team, and it seems like they're doing it pretty good. But that might be a bad matchup with them versus Pitt because Pitt actually has a pretty good rushing defense. That's the one thing that's in Pitt's favor for sure.
Well, I mean, also the fact that not talking about the defense, I believe we're tied for the number one scoring offense in the entire country, next to Fresno State, averaging 52 points per game, except the Tennessee game. Well, actually, no, we did score 40 plus that game.
Even in the loss to Western Michigan, y'all scored 41.
Yeah, even the loss to Western Michigan, we still scored over 40 points.
Yeah.
So can Georgia Tech handle that high-powered offense, which is something Pitt has lacked over the last, actually, I don't want to say the last 4 years. I want to say since 2018 was the last time we had a truly, truly good offense with 2 1,000-yard rushers, a 1,000-yard receiver. Nathan Peterman, ironically a Tennessee transfer, was our quarterback at that time. He did well. Kenny Pickett has thrown 17 touchdowns to only 1 interception, 1,439 yards.
You said 7 touchdowns, 1 interception?
17 touchdowns to 1 interception.
He's thrown 17 touchdowns already?
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's incredible, man. How many y'all played? Y'all played 4. Y'all played 4 games. 4 games y'all played?
Yeah, we've played 4 games, and every single game, minus the Tennessee game, he's had 400 plus yards passing.
That's over 4 touchdowns a game on average.
He threw 8 versus Western or New Hampshire. We murdered them 77-7.
Man, I didn't realize that.
And I realize that's New Hampshire, and you should win the games you're supposed to, which is why I'm still pissed off about the Western Michigan game.
Yeah,
it's not like we're not upset about that. It's not like Pitt is not angry about that. We are livid.
Yeah, I would, and that's the thing that I don't understand about Pitt. Like, even in the years where I'm like, man, I think Pitt has a 9 or 10 win team on their hands, and maybe you do get to 9 wins, but one of those 3 losses is to a team that you shouldn't have lost to. You're like, man, that could have been a 10-win season. I think that's one of those seasons you're looking at now where maybe you go 9-3, but you should have been 10-2 or 10-2 because of the Western Michigan thing. It's weird.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. Even though we lost to Western Michigan, I think we're still going to have an even better season than what everybody thinks we will. Granted, yes, we lost to Western Michigan, but didn't Georgia Tech lose to NIU? Didn't Washington lose to Montana? And didn't Clemson just lose to North Carolina State?
Yep, that all happened.
So, I mean, why everybody's saying we have the worst loss in all of college football when I can go through each week and see worse?
Yeah, well, Florida State has the worst loss in college football in FBS.
Yeah,
they lost to freaking Jacksonville State. They lost to freaking Jacksonville State FCS at home.
Oh, yeah, I watched that game because Pitt game already ended, so I caught the end of that game.
That was crazy. Not just the last play, what set it up. That whole sequence there at the end.
Exactly. Like, I keep trying to tell, like, over at Mark Rogers TV, that Florida State guy, I can't remember his name, that does shows with Mark Rogers. He said he had Pitt going 4-8 and Florida State going 9-3. And Mark Rogers is trying to sit there and look at him like, are you high?
That's ridiculous. No, I hate Pitt. You know that. And I predicted Pitt to go 9-3 in the preseason. You can't let your emotion and your biased or rivalry mentality go into your predictions. Otherwise, you're gonna be all over the place and you're gonna be untrustworthy. You got to keep that out of it. I mean, you can talk trash. Me and you, we talk trash to each other all day long, but when it comes down to actual football, we don't say stupid things like, I think Pitt's going to go, 3-9, and you're not over there saying, West Virginia's going to go 5-7 or whatever.
No, I think our record will still be 9-3, but just like you said, who are those 3 losses to?
Yeah, and plus with Miami, North Carolina, and Clemson, all 3 of them being down, and all 3 of them having to come to Pitt.
Yeah. And Derek King is out for the rest of the season, most likely.
Yeah, or at least most of it.
Most of it. I think he has a shoulder injury, so I think he may be out, and that helps our chances because whenever Miami played us in 2017, they took who was their quarterback back then? I can't remember. They took their quarterback out, and it started to do better.
Was it Garcia?
No. Number 12, Rozier? No, that might have been their receiver.
No.
It might have been Malik Rozier. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let you go so you can get a couple other callers, and I just think Pitt wins this weekend, and I'm predicting a score of 44 Pitt, Georgia Tech 20.
Yep. I can agree with that. Not bad. Not bad.
If it's a blowout. If it's close, I say 38-30 Pitt. I still think Pitt will win. I don't see Sims being able to be the only person who's going to win the game for Georgia Tech. They have to use everybody. If they just use Sims, he's going to have a long night. He did last year when we sacked him 9 times.
Yeah. All right, man. I got somebody else wanting to call in now, but appreciate the call in, bud.
No problem.
All right, have a good one. Hey, you're on with Going to Blue, dude.
Hey,
What's up, bud?
can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, because my Wi-Fi's been messed up today.
Well, I'm excited because I'm about to have real internet Wi-Fi, and I'm talking really, really good. So my future live shows, I can go through my laptop. We can do different graphics, intros, web searches on ESPN, all that stuff. So I'm excited whenever we get that internet. It should be within 3 to 4 weeks, so I'm pumped about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty mad, but I'm also more of my people are saying that I'm a bandwagon now.
Why is that?
I mean, we lost to UTSA, but
That's not a bad loss, though. That's not a bad loss, though. UTSA's undefeated.
Yeah, and they're actually good. Their running game is insane.
Yeah, I think UTSA is one of the teams that deserved a top 25 spot over NC State and Clemson. UTSA, Kentucky, and Boston College, all three of those teams deserve to be in the top 25 over NC State and over Clemson. Even Texas, because now that we know how good Arkansas is.
Yeah. How good did Arkansas give it? Wait, no, that hasn't gone yet. My bad.
They look pretty good, though. I've never seen a schedule as brutal as what Arkansas has. I mean, they beat the snot out of, I think Texas was number 15 at the time. No, it was a home game, but that was impressive. And then a neutral game against Texas A&M, who was ranked number 7. I mean, just totally shut them down. And now they have to go on the road to number 2 Georgia.
Yep. But man, we got outcoached.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch that game. I tried to look for it on the guide, but I couldn't find it. So I was flipping through the NC State game and the Oklahoma West Virginia game.
Yeah, the Memphis game was a good game, but the fact that I was there is sad.
Yeah, can't always go to a win, trust me. Before this Virginia Tech game, which was a win, and I was happy about it, I was actually on a 2-game losing streak as far as going to Morgantown and watching West Virginia in 2019. 2019 when we were really, really bad. I went to the Texas game, which turned out to be a decent game, but we lost. And then it was either the year before that or 17, we played Oklahoma at home, and that was a shootout, which we still lost.
Yeah, but this is why I was really sad and mad at the same time. I've been to 23 games in a row for Memphis and only 1 loss.
That's a pretty good experience, though. I mean, only 1 loss, but there's bound to be a loss, in there somewhere.
It was 22 in a row, though.
Yeah, you got used to winning. I got you, man.
But it was 21-0.
Yep. It's one of the things, but Memphis is a good enough team to where they can bounce back from that and have a decent game, especially, UTSA being as good as what they are. That's not a terrible loss. So I think Memphis can still go 8-4, or no, I'm going to go 9-3. I think they go 9-3 and go to a decent bowl.
I'm not believing in our coach right now.
Well, got to give him a little bit more time though.
He has plenty of time. I mean, the Arkansas State game shouldn't have been that close.
Win's a win though. Sometimes it's a tougher matchup than you realize.
But never
Even against a lesser team.
Just never do it. Never take your foot off the pedal. And you win every game like that. Like, look at Pitt. Did they ever take their foot off the pedal? No.
Hey, one sec. People are saying they can't see me. I was looking in the camera. I thought... Hold on, guys. I was looking in the camera and it looked like y'all could see me. I was just trying... I was relaxing a little bit. Hold on. All right, we slid the chair back up. I still think Memphis is a good team. Maybe not elite, but good. Decent bowl. Even with that loss to UTSA, y'all could still contend for the AAC. I don't think y'all have to play Cincinnati in the regular season, so that helps y'all.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that we might lose to SMU.
Y'all get them on the road?
No, we get them at home, but they always do something.
Yeah, I mean, SMU, they're undefeated too. I think they're another team that could have easily... You know what? That's the fourth team that deserved to be in the top 25 over Clemson and NC State. I'm glad you brought that up. Because that's a good road win over TCU. I actually had the winner of that game getting ranked, so... Yeah, don't underestimate that win. That's a good win.
Like, UTSA should have been ranked.
Yes.
The fact they played. From 21-0 to only allowing 7 points in 3 quarters is pretty good.
Yeah. Their defense definitely showed up after that.
And I think we deserved it considering that punt return from last game.
Yeah, things come in full circle sometimes.
Like, that call was sad, but it wasn't our refs, it was SEC, so you can't blame us.
SEC had a bad week that entire day. I mean, the Penn State-Auburn game, and then that game, Memphis-Mississippi State, that was a bad day for SEC. That was a black eye on them.
Yeah.
So, they actually had to issue public apologies and statements. That's, it's not super rare, but it's few and far between. So for them to have to issue multiple statements on the same day, that's not good. That's not good at all.
Alright, but I know the biggest game of this week, and it's by far the biggest.
What's that?
Finally, there's a good matchup between Ole Miss and Alabama.
I agree. That's going to be a good one.
Last year, there was, no one thought that Ole Miss was going to do anything to Alabama. They brought them. They brought them.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a good game, closer than what most people were saying. I didn't have any doubts that Alabama was going to win, but that was at Ole Miss, and they can move the ball at will. So, yeah, I knew they were going to put up a ton of yards on Alabama and put up a ton of points. It's just, could Alabama score more? And Alabama had the offense.
And Alabama's questionable right now for offense.
I don't know. They look pretty good right now. Bryce Young does not look like a first-year starter, so... And it is at home, so that's going to benefit Alabama as well.
Yeah. But the offense against Florida, if they put up at least 42, I would have been like, yeah, this offense is really good. The offense is definitely decent, though.
Yeah.
And then all this offense is just... glory to the heavens. That's how many yards they get.
Yeah, I agree. We could see 700 to 800 yards per offense, so a total close to 2,000 offensive yards in that game. It's going to be a lot. I don't even know what the over-under is. It could be close to 100. I mean, they could score 50 on each other. Who knows?
Like, if there was a fantasy football league in college, that would be insane.
Yeah, that's you'd pick the Ole Miss Alabama lineups for sure.
I picked Ole Miss to win though.
Yeah, they have a chance. They have a chance. I think Alabama wins, but they might not cover.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like,
yeah, especially with that half a point. That's a key number. I think Alabama can win by 2 touchdowns, but can they win by more than 2 touchdowns? And 14.5. I know that's just a half a point, but that's more than 2 touchdowns. That's a key number. But we'll see.
Yep.
Do you have what was your final season prediction on Memphis?
Now I'm thinking 7-5.
Okay. And
But preseason 9-3.
all right. And before you get off here, what's your actual score for the Alabama Ole Miss?
Like the prediction for like each score that the offenses get.
The score, the final score, and who wins?
All right, got you. 63-62, Alabama wins.
63-62. So you're banking on a missed extra point.
Yep.
I got you, man.
Just remember the Mississippi State, bro.
I'd watch the hell out of that game. That's a good prediction. I like it. Good job.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
All right, man. Call back next show.
All right. Oklahoma sucks. Goodbye.
He might have said that as a troll, but it's true right now. Oklahoma does suck. I mean, they beat Tulane by 5. They beat Nebraska by a touchdown. They beat West Virginia by a field goal in the last second. And they only beat Western Carolina by 76 points. So people forget about that. They only beat Western Carolina by 76 points. That's a bad offense. That is a bad offense. Joey, if you're in the chat, send John Kelly my call-in number. He's calling the other number. Have him, if he doesn't have it already, send that to him so he can call into the show. 63-62 though. I actually like that prediction. That would be a crazy game to watch. The difference would be an extra point. He still had, if you notice, he still had Alabama winning, just a crazy score. This chair is getting on my nerves. Hold on, guys. Ah, there we go. Much better. Now I'm comfortable. I went back and looked at the numbers for Spencer Rattler. He's actually not doing terrible. He's throwing 74%, over 1,100 yards passing so far. I know he's only thrown 8 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions. If you compare his numbers to a lot of these other quarterbacks that are actually struggling, he actually has a lot better. He has better numbers than Sam Howell. He has better numbers than De'Aaron King. Of course, DJ Uiagalelei, but DJ is just doing horrific. So, when I watched the game with Oklahoma versus West Virginia, and you heard the fans chanting Caleb for the backup, I got the feeling, man, this, Spencer really must be messing up badly. And, with Oklahoma barely beating inferior opponents, I was starting to believe it. And then I actually looked at the numbers. Spencer is not having a bad year. You're on with Golden Blue, dude.
Hey, Mr. Golden Blue. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Doing good. I think the Texas Tech game will be a kind of a tune-up game. I think we'll try to right the ship a little bit before our road game at Baylor.
I agree with that. I found out that Texas Tech will be without their starting quarterback. I already had West Virginia winning by 2 touchdowns. I think they could win by 20 or more now.
It's a definitely a good game to work out the kinks on, playing
Yeah.
Texas Tech at home. So.
especially offensively. I'm thinking we win this game. I'm gonna go 31-13 West Virginia. I don't think Texas Tech puts hardly any points on the board.
It's funny how they put on the spread on a lot of the betting things. There's only 7-point spread without their starting quarterback. Was kind of funny because we almost beat Oklahoma.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. And it's in Morgantown. That makes zero sense.
Right. We never lose at home hardly anymore.
Yeah, this year is going to be a very tough place to win in Morgantown. Especially this year and last year. I think we went undefeated at home, didn't we, last year? If I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
I think we did. I'm pretty sure we did.
We didn't have to play Oklahoma last year.
Right. That was going to be our loss at home if we would have had to play them. But we didn't have to, so, the streak continues.
Yeah, you think about it, though. Yeah, we're probably a couple possessions from undefeated season right now. And, if we had a little bit better quarterback, I think we would be undefeated.
We are an interception in the Maryland game because he threw a freaking interception in the red zone. We would have taken the lead right there. And a bad snap in the Oklahoma game away from being undefeated. Honestly, we're two plays away from being undefeated. That stupid interception in the red zone and that bad snap against Oklahoma.
Yeah,
that's why it's a crazy sport, though.
Yeah, I think the Baylor game on the road is the one to look out for. I think being able to play Iowa State. I believe we have Iowa State, Texas as well. I think
Oklahoma State as well.
All at home, right? We have Iowa State, Oklahoma State, and Texas all at home, right?
Yep.
So
I think the tough one. Let's see. We get Baylor. I'm not completely sold on Baylor, and I'm not trash talking them. I looked at their first 3 games, and they weren't impressive at all. And if you look at the Iowa State game, it was more about Iowa State playing poorly, and Baylor had to hang on there at the end. They only won by 2. Good win, not taking anything away from that, but it just seems like something is off with Iowa State. So I'm not really too intimidated by Baylor. That's not to say they couldn't beat us. They definitely, I believe they could beat West Virginia, especially at home. But I'm not going into it like, oh man, we got to come up with this great game plan because, one little slip up or one little missed possession and we're done. That's not what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking, as long as we don't, pull a Maryland where we have 4 turnovers or a bad snap like it, Oklahoma, that's a winnable game.
Right. I think, I think that if, I could say at least 2 possessions. Now, I think if we end up playing Baylor on the road, you just got to hope the offense start clicking.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. It's not that we have to have a prolific offense, and it's not that we have to score in every possession or score a ton of points. It's we have to make the most of each possession, meaning chew up some clock, even if you don't score. Get some yards, chew up some clock, and wear that opposing defense down. Because our defense can go all game long. They have proved it every stinking game. Our defense can go all... You're not going to out-hustle or wear our defense down. That's not going to happen. Even in the Oklahoma game, our defense was on the field way, way, way too much. In fact...
75 plays or something, I believe.
Yeah.
They were just they were kind of trying to control them, kind of letting them pass 5 yards up the field every time.
Yeah.
Kind of controlling the running game.
And if you look at the overall season...
Like that,
if you look at the overall season, our opponent has had the ball for much more time than what we have. So that tells you right there, if our defense was going to get worn out, they would, somebody would have already done that by now. So it's all about our offense chewing up yards, chewing up time, even when we don't score. We don't have to score a ton of points. We have a great defense. What we do need to do is not give our opponent a short field and, let them have their way with, take as much time as they want on the field and potentially win in a last-second field goal like Oklahoma did.
right.
Be smart on the
think if
offensive
they-
side of the ball.
Yeah, if they can get Letty Brown going, he's an NFL running back through and through.
Yes.
If they can just start creating holes for him, the offensive line needs to get a little bit more experience. But I think if they can start making holes for Brown, maybe they can start finding reads for Daggy and bringing in. And then I think Green was a little bit nervous in the Oklahoma game, but he had a nice little swing pass to him, scored a touchdown on there.
Yeah.
When he was breaking out, kind of swinging it out the other direction on the field. So.
Yeah, I like how Neil Brown is utilizing Garrett Green. He's slowly adding more time. If you don't notice, he's slowly adding more time each game to Garrett Green. He's not just like, all right, Daggy sucks, so it's all yours. That would be too much pressure. Because if you can't tell, Garrett Green is a yiped up person. He has a ton of energy. He's in full go mode the whole time. So you kind of, you got to pull back the reins on him a little bit, and that's why Coach Brown is, just kind of easing him into the game plan. And a lot of people are like, Daggy has proven he's not a starting quarterback type of, caliber. Why haven't they just put Garrett Green, start him, keep Daggy out? Well, Daggy won the starting job, so our game plan has centered around Daggy. And Neil Brown is the type of coach where he almost has the entire season planned out as far as the game plan. So he has to slowly switch that game plan. He can't just completely flip it like that. That's not how he works.
They're utilizing Green as a kind of an option read RPO quarterback.
Yes.
Like he's a freshman, he's real young, and his passing accuracy isn't as good as Daggy. I know Daggy's messed up a lot of passes, but he's still a senior. He's still experienced.
Right.
And Daggy's just a young kid still. He's trying to learn the ropes. He's really quick on his feet. But
yeah, I do think Garrett Green will be able to stretch the field more, though. Because that's one thing that Daggy does not do for our offense. The opposing defense is not scared at all of West Virginia stretching the field. I know that first play against Virginia Tech, had Sam James caught that would have been a big game, possibly a touchdown. That's the first time I ever see Daggy try to throw for a deep ball like that. So, defenses that play us right now, they're not scared of that deep ball. And I think Garrett Green has the potential of being able to stretch the field, unlike Daggy. He just doesn't have a strong arm.
He's just a hair off in his deep balls when he tries to break the coverage. He did land a 32-yard touchdown pass, but that was just that one throw. But
right, few and far between.
Yeah, few and far between. And he's got people running open. He just can't see them all for some reason. And his reads, he's slow to react. Maybe a second and a half slow.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about DJ Uiagalelei. For some reason, him and Daggy are just a split second behind. And when you say it out loud, that doesn't sound like much. But in the game of football, a split second is a big deal. So if they can get that timing down a little bit better, we would see instant amazing results. You see Daggy throwing behind his receivers, over the top of his receivers. He's just a hair off. It's not like he's just airing it out and it's like way out of reach. He's just a hair off of those throws. If he can get that timing down, we could have some big plays. But he just hasn't been able to so far.
A successful offensive line blocks for a little over 3 seconds is considered a successful block for the quarterback to find enough options to throw to the right receiver. For 3 seconds, you need 3 seconds to be open. Usually, sometimes it takes 5 seconds to develop a deep ball, but 3 seconds to find a route for a receiver running across the field by then. So.
And the thing for Daggy is he could give himself an extra second if he learned how to step up in the pocket. For whatever reason, whenever the pocket starts collapsing, he wants to start dancing from side to side instead of stepping up. If he were to learn to step up like you're supposed to do, that would buy him an extra second. But for whatever reason, his clock doesn't work like that. His feet don't work like that.
Yeah, you'd think he would have had it down by now. With him, I think this is his last year eligibility. But
and he's a redshirt senior, so this is his 5th year.
Making this last year, so I don't know why he's not making him this year.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I agree. And it's not like he's only been in this offense, for 1 year. He's been in it for 2 full years. And in 2019, he was used in the last 3 games. So he's got enough experience in this offense to be farther along than what he is. I'm not saying, he should be perfect and amazing, but he should be farther along than what he is right now.
I mean, if you can remember, he was benched for Kendall. I think Kendall played a good bit in the bowl to beat Army last year.
Yeah, we were actually down, and Daggy couldn't hit anything in for whatever reason.
Kendall came in and won the game, didn't he?
Yeah, he came out and had a great game.
Yeah.
So I was surprised about that. It is what it is, though. But we have a two quarterback system. I think it's going to work out for what we need it to do this year. We're not trying to get to the playoffs or win the Big 12. We're going to get to 8, 9 wins. I think it's going to serve its purpose. And, as far as who we'll lose to, maybe on the road to Kansas State and maybe on the road to TCU. I think we can win all our home games, including Iowa State, if Iowa State keeps looking the way they're looking right now. So, we'll see.
If Kansas State and TCU have the mediocre play that they've been having on some of the aspects of their game, I think we can possibly win 2 of those 3 road games. Maybe.
Yeah.
And
I agree with that. Nobody really scares me because of how good we hung in there with Oklahoma. Honestly, nobody on our schedule scares me.
Right. You already faced the top. Playing them on the road was the game that most people said, wow, we're playing them first.
Yeah, so I thought we'd get blown out, dude. I thought we would get blown out.
I had a good feeling about the game. It was hard for a lot of fans to take.
Well, I'm saying whenever the schedule came out and I saw Oklahoma first on the road, I'm like, man, we're getting blown out. Now, as it got closer and I saw how bad Oklahoma looked, I was like, I think we'll get, even when I did my prediction, I said, Oklahoma wins, but they don't cover. I think they win by 2 touchdowns, which is not covering what the spread was. I think it was 17.5 or something like that. So for it to be a field goal game at the last second, that surprised me, not going to lie.
Hey, think about it. We had the ball twice in midfield. Once after stopping on 4th down, we slammed the running back in the ground, took the ball over on downs. If we restarted the midfield, we gained 1 yard and had the punt.
Yep. Stupid little things like that add up.
Yeah, they had a couple receivers open. You didn't see the routes, I don't think. So.
Yeah. So I think our final record is going to be I'm going to say 8-4, 9-3. Outside chance of a 10-2, but I mean that leaves very little room for error. That means we can only lose 1 more game. So I'm going to go safe and go 9-3 with maybe a loss to TCU and Kansas State on the road. What would you say? What's your season prediction?
I think anywhere from 8-4 to 10-2. Just depends on how good our offense improves. If our offense doesn't improve very much, I think we could still win some of those games at home, or win maybe the TCU game. Maybe would be Kansas. I think we even play Kansas on the road, don't we? So.
I got you, man. Well, good call, man. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, give me a good call.
Give me a call back on Saturday after we whoop Texas Tech.
Alrighty, going Blue Dude. It's good to talk to you, man.
You as well, man. Call in anytime.
Alright, thanks.
Alright, have a good night. Yeah, I agree with him. A lot of West Virginia fans, we're done with Daggy, but at the same time, we don't have an experienced, viable replacement right there. Everybody's calling for Garrett Green, but Garrett Green doesn't have enough experience. It is what it is. We're a 2-quarterback team right now. I'm good with that. I think it'll serve its purpose. I can live with that. You're on my Golden Blue, dude.
Hey, this is Jeremiah.
What's going on, man?
I want to talk about the potential for Texas going on a tear this year after ever showing up to Texas Tech and blowing them out.
Oh man, that game got ugly. And now that we see how good Arkansas is, I know y'all got blown out, but that was on the road against an Arkansas who is now a top 10 team. It's not a horrible loss. Now, the margin of defeat was rather large, but the team who you lost to, pretty good team, Arkansas.
Yeah, I think we're also working through some of the problems from the previous staff.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that.
Our O-line at Texas Tech, from that and all our previous games, was night and day difference. Even against Louisiana, our O-line did not look great. But they looked amazing against Texas Tech. Now, they may just be that bad, but...
Honestly, it looked like, just from watching the game, it looked like you guys were playing a high school team. I'm not trying to trash talk Texas Tech. I'm just saying that's how much y'all dominated them.
Yeah, I've never seen Texas play like that since, like, I don't know, maybe like Colt McCoy days. Not even really that.
Yeah. I can, even Vince Young, man, he had a really good offensive line. That's how he was able to get so many rushing yards.
Amazing team overall with Vince Young. Like, he was at probably one of the best Texas teams ever.
Yeah. Exactly. Hey, are you coming to Morgantown for the Texas game? I'm going to be there.
Oh, me, nah. I'm going to be in South Carolina, though.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if everything goes right, I might try and get there. I don't know.
Yeah, we got validated the other day. We got the tickets and everything. We're actually gonna be in the lower bowl, right next to the visitor section. So that's gonna be pretty fun.
Morgantown always looks like a fun place to.
Oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. It's real fun.
Any of the places in the Big 12 I want to go to a game, other than DKR, would be there.
Oh yeah, it was a great. I've been to many West Virginia games, but I will say, this past game that I went to, the Virginia Tech game, that was by far the best experience. That was the wildest I've ever seen the crowd in my entire life. That was nuts.
Yeah. I wish you guys had like a Will Greer type quarterback. You guys be on fire.
Oh yeah, that's what everybody keeps saying. We're just a quarterback away from being an elite team, and I agree with that. And I was trying to tell people, people were expecting West Virginia to take a significant step backwards on defense, because Deshaun Miller transferred to Auburn and Tyke Smith transferred to Georgia, and I'm like, guys, no, we're not taking a big step backwards on defense. Number one, because of depth. Those guys were playmakers, and it's going to hurt. But within 2 or 3 games, that depth that was playing behind them, that was making good plays, and we get KJ Martin back. I wasn't expecting a significant step back. Maybe a small step back, but I don't even see that. Like, they've performed even better than what I thought.
Yeah. You guys surprised me against Oklahoma. I thought you guys would lose by not 17 points, but maybe a touchdown and a field goal or so.
I had us losing by 2 possessions. I'm right there with you. I was pleasantly surprised. At the beginning of the year, before I saw how bad Oklahoma looked, I thought we were just going to get blown out by 30 like we always do in Oklahoma. But once I saw how bad they looked, I was like, this could be a close 2-possession game.
Yeah, one deep shot, and you guys would have been run away with that win.
That's the thing, though. We don't have a quarterback that can throw a deep shot. That's our one shortcoming from being an elite team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big shortcoming, too.
Yeah, so that's time you guys had Will Greer was there.
Yes.
You had that home run capability.
Well, not just a home run, it's the touch that he had with the home run. I mean, I'm not trying to rub salt in the wounds, but even that win over Texas Tech, that ball that he threw to Jennings with under 2 minutes left, not only was that a deep ball, but that had to be perfect timing to get it right over the safety, but before Jennings went out of bounds. That was one of the best touchdown throws I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Just amazing.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah. But Texas this year, they've got the running back room that seems like of legends.
I don't understand why Bijan Robinson isn't being talked even more. That dude is legit Heisman.
It's because he keeps put on the bench because Sark doesn't want to get him injured or anything. He wants to keep everybody fresh, and he can run Roshan, he can run Jonathan Brooks, he can run Keelan Robinson in the second quarter because the game's already over in the first.
Yeah, that's true. I think whenever you get in some closer games, he'll really let Bijan loose.
Yeah, once he started, I think Red River we're gonna let him loose.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good game. I think Texas has a real good shot of winning comfortably. I don't believe in Oklahoma right now. Their offense is just, it's not really, I don't know. It doesn't look like an Oklahoma offense. I mean, they have a really good defense, but their offense, they can put up yards and yards and yards all day long, but they just can't score.
Yeah, it's just, and then if you see Rattler against Nebraska, he was throwing to the same guys. He was rolling out of the pocket, and he was throwing to the same routes.
Yep.
I think he's too accustomed to having a favorite receiver, and PK coming from Washington, he's gonna see that on film. He's gonna be like, we can pick that.
Oh yeah, definitely. You can't show tendencies like Rattler is showing. Like he's showing tendencies. Obviously, I mean, even to fans.
Yeah, I can't see Rattler finishing the season as a starter. I don't know. I could see him losing 4 games.
Well,
I can see him losing to Kansas and Texas right now.
Well, when you look at his numbers, he's not a bad quarterback. I mean, he's throwing for 74%, over 1,100 yards. It's getting the ball in the end zone, which I know is the most important part. But he can put together drives, chunk yards. It's, for whatever reason, they hit a wall trying to punch it in the end zone. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it.
I mean, I know Lincoln Riley relies on that play action, and right now they're struggling in the back room.
Yeah, and they run the ball well too. Kennedy Brooks and Henderson, I think is his name. They're averaging over 6 yards a carry, so they have playmakers. They chunk yards. They just can't get it in the end zone. There's no other way I can put it. They just, for whatever reason, they can't score touchdowns.
Yeah, and it's not even like they're getting a bunch of penalties. I mean, they're getting penalties occasionally. It's not like the Herman, Texas offense where we take 3 holding penalties and be down like 30 yards.
Right, yeah. Exactly. It's just, for whatever reason, they hit a wall, and they just can't get past it.
Yeah, they get past the yard line, and then it's like 4th down, we got to punt it.
Yep. That's about it. You hit it,
Yeah.
or even, to the 30 or whatever. Get a field goal or have to punt. Either way, no touchdown.
I thought they were going to lose that Nebraska game, and then Nebraska's kicker just absolutely blew it.
Yeah, I did too. I was hoping Nebraska could pull the upset. That would have been a big rivalry upset, but for whatever reason, Oklahoma keeps getting their opponents to commit stupid mistakes for them to barely pull out a win. I mean, even Tulane, man, they were like 1 yard short of converting that 4th down, and they could have won that game. So it's not Oklahoma winning, it's other teams 1 play short from beating Oklahoma. It's really annoying me, man. Somebody needs to get that 1 play and just beat them already.
Yeah, I think Texas is going to break that TCU curse as well.
Yeah.
That SMU game, they were getting absolute gashed by SMU. And that's Texas' expected this season.
That surprised me too, because Gary Patterson, TCU has led the Big 12 in defense the entire time they've been there, except for starting last year, and that's when West Virginia led the Big 12 in defense. And it's going to be the same thing this year. TCU's defense, not your typical TCU defense. You're going to be able to gain some yards and score some points on them.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd take the Texas to cover that 4.5. I think it is on the points.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think that's a pretty solid guess. But I think people are hesitant because of what Texas has done in the past. But I think Sark has these guys bought in. I don't want to be speaking coach speak here, but I think he legitimately has them in And then after seeing that Texas Tech game, because Texas just doesn't do that. They don't blow out teams that they should beat and dominate. They don't blow them out 70-0.
Right.
And he doesn't even have his players yet. Like, he hasn't really had a class the entirety of his own.
Yep,
Like,
you got to keep that in mind. Same thing with our coach, Neil Brown, and next year's recruiting class for West Virginia, our best recruiting class, possibly in history, but definitely since 2006. We're a top 25 recruiting class, so wait till he gets a couple of top 20 recruiting classes at West Virginia. It's going to be a show. It's going to be a show, man.
Yeah. I haven't seen Oklahoma State do this yet, but everyone keeps putting them so high rated. Well, have you seen them yet, Oklahoma State?
Yeah, I mean, they shouldn't have won that Boise State game. They kind of got screwed on that one. And then last week they actually did look pretty good against Kansas State. But I think Oklahoma State will grab a couple of losses. I think West Virginia beats them in Morgantown pretty convincingly. Oklahoma State, they can be good, but they don't have depth. You can wear them out throughout a game.
So you thinking it's the Big 12 championship matchup?
Oh my, dude, who freaking knows, man? I think Texas could be in the Big 12 championship. If Oklahoma keeps getting lucky and for some reason their opponent doesn't make that one play, they could be in it. I think West Virginia still has a chance to be in it. As long as our defense keeps playing the way it does, our offense maybe gets in rhythm, West Virginia still has a chance. Oklahoma State, who knows?
Yeah, I don't think people. Baylor, I don't think is going to make it. They got lucky with some punt returns and some trickery against Iowa State, so I don't think they're going to make it. Iowa State's not going to make it. They're already down. Like, they're going to lose 3 or 4 games in the Big 12.
Yeah, we'll see. If they get momentum, though, momentum is a thing that's unpredictable, so you just never know.
Yeah. I'd say they're like a wild card. Most wild cards, say West Virginia, Oklahoma State, and OU, and Texas are the 4 possibilities.
I agree with that. I think TCU's defense is too bad. They're out. Kansas, of course, they're bad. They're out. Let's see. Kansas State, they lost their starting quarterback. They're out. Texas Tech, they look god-awful. They're out. Baylor, I'm still not sold on them. If you look at their previous games, they didn't look great. I mean, they got a decent win over Iowa State, but how good is Iowa State? So I'm not confident in Baylor. Iowa State, they're out. They don't look good at all. So, yeah, your 4 teams, Texas, Oklahoma State, and West Virginia. That's it.
Yeah.
So those would be the 4 teams that I would say have a chance. Any combination of those 4. I don't know who the exact combination would be. But listen, I'm going to run here, man. It's getting late, and I'm about to wrap up the show.
Yeah, I get it.
Good talk, though.
All right, bye.
Have a good one, man. That was a pretty good call, guys. Pretty good call. Texas. See, even West Virginia fans and Texas fans, West Virginia fans and Pitt fans, we can all get along and still talk trash. But still get along at the end. So I'm going to wrap it up, guys. It's getting. I know 10:30 isn't all that late, but I got to wake up early in the morning and take the kids to school. Great show, guys. I appreciate every one of y'all coming out and watching the super chat. Everybody that's called in, everybody that's commented. Y'all make this show. All the likes, more likes than viewers. That's always a good thing. So, yeah, thank you for supporting the show. And don't forget about the score prediction contest. Every single week, I pick out a game and a tiebreaker game in case there's a tie, giving out $20 to whoever comes closest to the score prediction. All you have to do is go over to my Patreon page and join it. I have 3 levels. The blue level, which is $4.99, you get 1 guest prediction per week. The gold level, 2 guest predictions per week. And then the champion level, you get 4 guest predictions per week. And you can win as many times as you want. So if you're really good at it, you could win a lot of money. And I'm going till the end, all 16 weeks. Or how many ever weeks? Yeah, including playoffs, all 16 weeks. So we're going to give out a lot of money. And we're actually pretty close to being able to give away $50 every single week. Just a few more Patreons, and we'll be able to give away $50 every stinking week. So I'm pretty excited about that. Anyways, thanks for giving me a great show, guys, because it's because of you. I'm just the face and the mouth, so I appreciate y'all giving me a great show. Awesome stuff. Don't forget tomorrow, as usual, videos every single day. I will have a video for you, so if you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. I don't miss a day. Videos every day. Y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all on Saturday at some time, depending on how the primetime game goes.